Okay, so this question it's asking us about uh, which which thing we would buy based on some information for in this case it's a pesticide. We need a certain amount of active ingredient. So just to give you some background here, a lot of times when chemicals are sold to people, they're not full concentration. That means they might be 10% whatever the chemical is and 90% something else. Maybe it's water or maybe it's some other kind of chemical that doesn't really that dilutes the effect. So what we're seeing here is different bottle sizes and different prices and different concentrations. Okay, um, just to get a fair comparison, you would need to know that the M in front of a unit means it's a thousandth of the big unit. So this liter, 1.3 liters, is 1,000 times. 1 liter would be 1,000 times 1 milliliter. So in terms of milliliters, if we convert this 1.3 liters times 1,000 milliliters per liter, this would cancel, that would cancel. So I'm going to get 1,300 milliliters. Okay, so now we've got everything at least in the same unit here. D is 1,300 milliliters. They're asking us two questions here. And the first question is, if you need a total of 400 milliliters of active ingredient and you're trying to spend as little money as possible, which brand would you buy? And the second question is, if you want the most active ingredient for your money, you should spend money on bottles of which brand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my table and I'm going to add a couple of columns to it. One is active ingredient, how much? And to find out how much active ingredient there is, I'm going to multiply the bottle size times the percentage as a decimal. So to find this as a decimal, I would divide it by 100. Zoom out a little bit here. So 45 divided by 100 is 0.45. And I'm going to multiply that by 250 milliliters. Tells me I get 112.5 milliliters. That's the active ingredient. Okay, so 112.5. I'm going to do the same thing for each of these. 0.65 would be 65 divided by 100, multiplied by 655, 425.75 milliliters of active ingredient. I'm going to do 950 times 0.80, that's 80% as a decimal. I get 760 milliliters. And then this last one is 1,300 milliliters times 30%. So 1,300 milliliters times 30% as a decimal gives me 390 milliliters of active ingredient there. Okay, so we also want to know, like, how much active ingredient are we getting for our money? So we would not want to know, like, something like milliliters per dollar. So if I take the active ingredient and divide it by $15, I'll know how much I'm getting for each dollar. So let me do that here. I'm going to do 112.5 milliliters divided by $15 gives me 7.5 milliliters per dollar for brand A. 425.75 divided by $55 gives me 7.74 milliliters per dollar. So as of right now, brand A is the best deal, because you'd want to get no, brand B is the best deal, because you'd want to get more milliliters for your money. Okay, and then 760 divided by 68, 11.17, I'm going to round that, 11.18 milliliters per dollar. And finally, 390 divided by 28, 13.9. Okay. So now it would appear that the best deal is this one, 13.93 milliliters per dollar. But this first choice is about how much we would buy if we only need 400 milliliters of active ingredient. So to get 400 milliliters out of this bottle, I'm going to say what the price is. We would have to buy 4 of these. So 4 bottles at $15 a piece would be $60. This we could just buy the bottle, and we have enough. So that's $55. This one here, if we buy the bottle, we get enough, but that's $68. This one, we would it's 10 milliliters below what we need, so we would have to buy 2 of these. So 2 times 28, that would be 56. Okay, so for just 400 milliliters, the cheapest one is this one, which is brand B. Okay, so if all we need is 400 milliliters, we're going to buy brand B. It's $1 cheaper than brand D. But the second question is, if you want the most active ingredient for your money, you should spend your money on bottles of brand. Well, let's take a look. Really what we need to consider is this column here, milliliters per dollar. This one gives us the most milliliters per dollar, and so it's the best deal if we just want a lot of active ingredient. Thanks. See you on problem 8.